Albert A. Wall, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 189 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah? Just okay? Yeah.
Yep.
Just okay.
We got
I booked my
Good weekend.
I booked my Dollywood trip for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You're doing Christmas at Dollywood?
So we've done Thanksgiving at Dollywood before where it had Christmas stuff, but we're going to go the 21st to 23rd, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to be out on Christmas Eve. I have like total ulterior motive about why we're going then, but you know.
Yeah, okay.
What?
I mean, I can't really say because it's just, it's just, one of those things.
People listen to this and you don't want things to get around.
But it will be, I think it will be a fun trip. Like my son will be home from college. That's kind of our trip because, right, our trips change now that he's at college. So, we can't do the vacation schedules are just different. Like their spring breaks are different. Every other, thing is different. And actually, even then on the 21st, the other kids have school. So we're just kind of going to be like, all right, once they're done with school, we're going to leave. We're going to try to go to the park at night on the 21st and then the 22nd, then leave the 23rd. Because it comes with 2-day park passes as well. The only thing that was really terrible is that we're staying at the Dream World, which I love. And I forgot that last time we stayed there, my parents went as well. So I didn't have to worry about the 5 people in a room. But this time I had to get 2 rooms. Like, that's just terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it's expensive. Really expensive to get 2 rooms.
Especially at a holiday, right? Yeah, especially during a holiday.
Yeah, so I think it's still not Disney pricing. So I think that those days with 2 park tickets for all of us, I think it's like $2,000. So two nights.
That's like all in though. That's all in.
That's all in. Yep. So 2 nights, 2 park, and again, the Dream World is really nice. 2 rooms, which again is super expensive, and then park tickets. So I think that's pretty respectable. Because again, if I split that in half, I only had 1 room, I'd be at $1,000, which is not bad at all. But
so you're saying that's
$2,000 it is.
That's for 7 people you're planning, right?
No, 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah, we have gone with my parents, which was nice because we just threw one of our kids in their room. But
Got
this
it.
time,
okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
All right.
I do have a question. So, Christmas at Dollywood, does Dolly Parton, does a Dolly Parton impersonator greet you instead of Santa?
No.
No.
No. So Dolly's in the parks a fair amount. I've never actually seen her, unfortunately. But, again, my big thing with Dollywood at Christmas is it's very Christmas. It's, very Christian
decorated.
Christmas. Well, no, it's also Christian Christmas, right? It's not whatever everyone else does, right? It's a little more
denominational Christmas.
Yeah, it's a little bit more religious, which is kind of cool. So we enjoy that. And what do they have? They have Rankin and Bass, right? They have Rudolph and the Abominable. They have all those characters there. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, so they license those out? That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, and it's pretty fun. We have pictures from last time that we went over Thanksgiving with Abominable and Rudolph, Hermes. Is it Hermie or Hermes? Which one is it?
Is it Hermie?
That just sounded like Miss Piggy Kermie from Tom real quick. I don't know. When we run that
I wasn't doing an impression.
No, but it sounded like it was funny.
I wasn't doing an impression. I was just talking.
It's Hermie.
Do you sound like Miss Piggy regularly? Is it just your talk?
I don't think so. I hope not. That would be odd. I mean, Miss Piggy is voiced by a man, so I'm not that offended, I guess.
They have Cornelius. They have all the characters. It's pretty cool. So I enjoyed that. So we're looking forward to that. And there's a lot of good rides at the park. So I think there's one ride that we haven't been on yet. The new ride in 2023 obviously won't be done, but there is a new ride. And we haven't been to, I think it's Wild Something Grove. I forget what the name of it is, but we haven't been there. So there's a new little section to the park. So it should be fun. And the food there is good. So I like it. So again, I think it's kind of a good little trip because again, we won't be able to do that trip that we do usually around spring break. We usually do a spring break trip, and we just can't do that anymore. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then I think, like I said, we're going to do I think we're going to stay away from 4th of July. I think we're going to do a June trip for Disney. That will be our next trip to Disney. So that should be good.
Should we talk about our shirt release? We posted the shirt picture on Facebook, and I feel like not a lot of people saw it for some reason.
I don't know. The group is interesting to me because there's so many more people in it now, but I wonder who's active in the group as much, right? Like I think it goes through lulls, but I mean, I think the shirt came out great.
I feel like Tom's right. I think it may be a bit of a timing thing too. If
very busy for everyone getting back to school.
Yeah, if not a lot of people are looking, they may miss it. So hey, if you haven't looked at it yet, maybe go have a look in the group and see what Damon posted for the preview for the shirt.
Yeah. So for those, sorry,
cool.
Trevor, go ahead. I thought you were
I was just
talking.
gonna. I was just gonna say I'm actually really excited for it. I've shown it to a couple of people at my office, and like even they're not like big Disney people, but even they were like, "Wow, that looks really cool!" Like just the design looks really good. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it definitely came out really good. And like my wife didn't even know we were doing another shirt, and then I showed it to her, and she's like, "Oh, that's awesome! I want one." And I was like, "Okay." But yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, if for those that haven't seen it, it's so we themed it to Universe of Energy, of course. And we've got the Jeopardy scene in there. We've got the classic dinosaur, that everybody remembers from that ride, and then we even have the ride vehicle in there. So it's definitely very very us, I would say, right? It's a very it's a very appropriate shirt, and it looks really cool. It came out really nice. The artist did a great job again. So we're going to start selling those soon. We don't have a date for that yet, but we will let everybody know when we do have a date, especially since they're going to be limited as they were last time. So
Yep.
So, all right. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are dealing with back to school right now because we didn't even get any questions for this week, right? So
we got great questions.
I know these are from last week.
Yeah, we didn't get through all the questions last week because of our conversation with Derek and Marissa.
Yeah, and we already went like 2 hours and 5 minutes.
So not only did I miss the conversation with them, I still don't have a hat. Derek said he was sending me a hat. I don't know how busy Derek is.
I think he's pretty busy.
I think he was asking for your address at some point.
I sent him my address over a week ago.
Oh. Okay, well then I'll leave that between you and Derek then.
Yeah.
He said he had to scrounge one up. He said he didn't have one, so he had to go find it.
Maybe they had to order more.
Maybe he had to order more just for you.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be really nice. So,
but until I have it, I can't really believe it yet.
Yeah, no, I get that. But so we had these are carryovers from last week, and then the only new question we have was from Dan, and that was on the Discord. So,
okay.
It's been like it's been quiet with some of our usual
people have gone to their Disney trips already because they're getting ready for back to school, right? And it's just kind of busy.
Except for
Trevor,
I get it. Except for Trevor,
I'm still a few months out on mine. Same with you, Tom. So, or actually, you're about a month out now on yours.
I'm not far out. Yeah, I'm pretty. I mean, technically, we leave the last day of September, and we're about to be in September here. So, I mean, it's still basically a month. But I mean, today I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to get the reservation at the kennel for the dog. I got to order our magic bands for those that don't have them. I got to. I always like to hold our mail when we're on vacation, especially if we're gone for, we're going to be gone for 11 days. So, that I'm just starting to think about that kind of stuff and getting all that kind of things,
Wait, you're gone in September or October?
October, but we leave the last day of September. So it's technically the first day at Disney is October 1st, and it's October 1st to October 11th.
I know. We're going to have like 2 wait lists in there.
I know we are, unless I teach Trevor how to edit the podcast in between now and then, which we could. But
I'm worried because I know I don't think we're going to have even necessarily me and Damon being available at the same time either.
Exactly.
So it'd be a weird, awkward
soccer like all over the country. I feel like
yeah. So I mean, unless you guys want me to monologue for an hour, but that'll work.
I've thought about doing one of those shows one time when both you were unavailable. I was like, what would that sound like? And I really don't want
terrible, dude.
it would. It truthfully would, because I would
it
just
doesn't
be
matter who it is.
myself.
It could be any of us. It would be terrible.
Yeah, no, I don't
okay,
think it's
here we
good,
go.
right?
Hello, this is the Trevor Hour. All Trevor, all the time.
All the time. The Trevor, the real Trevor fans are going to come out. The Trevor Army for that one.
I don't think this is a monkey paw wish. I don't think any of us want this.
No. We definitely don't want this for sure. So, yeah, no,
do we do waitlist or we just do nothing?
We can't just do nothing, right?
I think we can do some wait lists.
Yeah, just throw some wait lists in there. We'll do some quickie, episodes, some 30-minute, 25-minute ones, just to tide people over for a couple weeks.
I
would love to say.
What if they weren't Disney based?
What do you mean? Like just random travel or
I don't know.
On what topics?
What other topic could the three of us weigh in on?
Video games, movies, I guess.
I could do video games for.
I mean, I could do animation, but just family. What about family stuff?
I mean, we answer those questions. I feel like on the regular show anyway.
Yeah.
No. No.
I just found out that Tom's daughter's going to swim lessons.
I know. I've talked about that a long time ago.
I don't remember.
Because you said something about
my feelings on swim lessons.
You said that was like a year ago that you said that.
Wait, but how old is your daughter now?
She's 4 and almost a half. Yeah.
Oh, I want to say she's like 1. I don't know why. It just feels like that.
No, she's 4 and a half.
Damon stuck.
I feel like it's
COVID.
1. Yeah,
it's been a long time.
I must be.
It's been a long time. No, swim class is going very poorly. So it's just she's afraid. She's afraid to go underwater for some reason. I don't know why. I just
Your swim classes sound about the same as my swim classes when my son was the same age.
Okay, so I guess I'm not alone on this.
You're not. I mean, my kids, again, it was a little bit different, but they had a teacher that she did not play. Your head went under the water through her legs, and if you cried, then you cried.
She was like a toss them in the water and make them.
Oh, it was. You have no idea how many parents after the first week just totally dragged their kid out of the water and quit. Oh, and she just didn't care. She was just like, "Yep, all right, whatever." But she was the best. She was the best because those kids, all 3 of my kids, came out of there knowing stuff.
they knew.
Yeah. The weird thing is, she was totally fine with it. She loved going underwater, and it was all she was would talk about 2 months ago. And then something happened, and it traumatized her, and now she refuses. I don't know what happened though. Nothing happened that I'm aware of. So
it's not anything that would be obvious to you. Kids are weird that way.
I just feel like that's why you just can't start them that early, man, because then they get this sort of fear about something. I feel like when they're 5, it's different. I don't know.
I mean, but it's not even really, like I told you, it's not even really swim class at this age. It's more survive. It's how to float on your back. It's how to
at 4.5?
Yeah, they're not doing I mean,
my kids were doing the laps at that point. 4.5.
At 4.5?
They started at 5. So my son was already swimming 5 years old. He was swimming full laps. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you none of the kids in her class are doing laps. So that's not a thing that's happening.
For us, it was because the way our swim classes went, it was it would go we would do it for a month. We'd show up a couple of times a week, and then there'd be a break, and then you'd come back for another session later. And for us, it was actually the teacher was the big difference, because I remember the one, he had one teacher, and she was very, she was nice, but got them to do stuff, but just her demeanor was very good. And then he got a different teacher, and I don't think it was that he was afraid of the water, but he decided that, because he didn't like her, he was just I'm not doing anything to do with this.
Oh, yeah.
But then it snowballed, like you were saying, Damon, it snowballed into, he associated with, no, I'm not doing this. Swimming is out of the question. And it was a fight for I want to say about a year, until he was about maybe 5, turning 6. And then once we got him back into it again, he was good until we got him up to a point. I think he was 8 or 9 before we stopped putting him in swim lessons. And then he was I'm just done with this because it's stupid. And, yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem, Trevor, right? So this is exactly what you're describing. I think she's on her 6th swim teacher in the past year because they keep quitting. Like their teachers keep quitting. So like
her last teacher, through. I mean,
her last teacher she trusted, and like she would do anything for that teacher. And that teacher left, and we were like, we're done now because there's no way she's gonna. She loved that teacher. Like we even thought about hiring her like privately. You know what I mean? Like to come to like our pool at our complex here and teach her to do stuff there. But she was good with the new teacher for like a little while, and then it just kind of fell off. So that's been our swim class portion of the Disney podcast.
No, this is the family portion because it's about family.
It's good anyway because if you're going to Disney, you should know how to swim.
True.
Listen, I agree.
Pool.
I agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. So anyway, listener question. Sean wants us to invent the next trackless ride. Our friends call them Roomba rides because the ride cars all look like they're sitting on top of a Roomba vacuum. What park and land will this be? What IP, of any special features, 3D water, other sensory effects?
It's got to be new, something new. Like, I envision this as like, let's replace Nemo, right? And let's put that ride under the water.
Like then under the actual water?
Under the actual water.
Like through the aquarium kind of thing?
Through the aquarium. Yep, but through it.
Okay. Well, a couple episodes ago, and I think you weren't here, Damon, we were talking about if they ever redid Figment, they should redo Figment as a trackless ride. Because like Figment is like just a chaotic character, right? So like you could do so much chaos with the trackless vehicles, right? Like that was a thing we kind of
that's still nothing different.
Yeah.
They're played out at this point, man.
What's that?
They're played out at this point, I feel.
What, trackless rides?
Yeah. And you got to do something new with them. I feel like if you put them underwater, like I could definitely get down with that. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But 3D has been done. I mean, what other sensory effects? Actually, if you ran it a little bit like any of the rides that had like, and Disney doesn't use fire, but I feel like a trackless ride with fire would be kind of cool.
I mean, they use fire. Yeah. I mean, they used to have fire. They fire on the Great Movie Ride. I mean, there was fire that happened in there. There's fire on
but
Indiana
not like the Mummy
and
tour.
Yeah, but you're far away from all that. Like
it's fire.
Something like the Mummy. Like the Mummy is fire is like right there.
Yeah,
or Escape from Pompeii.
It's fire.
Busch Gardens. Yeah, I mean fire. That's what I'm saying. It needs to be something different.
Damon, you want your eyebrows to be burned off, is what you're saying.
No, I mean I just want something different. I mean, I really want holograms, but I mean I just don't think we're getting holograms anytime soon. I feel like they could do holograms, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like kind of in that same vein. I wish they would take some of the stuff from the Void and turn that, like, do a trackless ride using some, like, maybe VR, but like a lot of the stuff that they did in the Void, right?
So there's a ride like that at Busch Gardens, and it's just absolutely atrocious.
Manta, what's it called? Not Manta.
No, not the Busch Gardens there, the Williamsburg one. It's
okay.
It's it's in Ireland, so I think it's a leprechaun one. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. And it's the same thing. You're like, it's what you're describing, which is even like, it sounds so good. And it was just so bad.
I mean, that's the stipulation is that, if you're going to do that kind of experience, it can't be, half done. It has to be very clean. And I
think my back still hurts from putting that vest on. So, when they have to lower it onto you from a crane.
Mm-hmm. I mean that battery pack, needed to last for 20 minutes. So,
well, I'm sure the technology's improved slightly, at least.
Oh yeah.
Well, because they are revamping, right? Like, so they went bankrupt, and then now they're coming back again. They're trying to make a comeback, I believe.
See, that's the thing is if it was a trackless ride, all that stuff would be mounted into the vehicle, and you would just have the headset on. Right.
I mean, it's essentially AR.
This sounds awfully much like Mario Kart, which is the best ride ever.
Oh my god!
I haven't even been on it. I'm just going to key it up as the best ride to ever exist. For
Have
that
you watched
hater,
videos of it? It looks terrible.
I think it looks awesome.
How can you say it looks awesome? The animation looks so bad. I don't understand.
No, it looks awesome.
Yeah,
because it's AR and it's Nintendo. We already had this discussion, right? No. That dude got really mad about it too, didn't he?
Who did?
I remember that one dude posted he was really mad.
I don't know. Did he?
Yeah, there was a review where he was really mad about me liking Nintendo and stuff. It was funny.
I don't know, man.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
probably blocked it out because it was a 1.
Yeah, because we were talking about going to Universal and stuff, and somebody said they didn't like Damon's take on that the Mario Kart ride was good. Which, I mean, I agree. I don't know why you wouldn't like it, but
yeah, it happens. All right, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. You got to give me something new if you're going to do another one of those rides. I don't know what that is, except under a thing.
But the Mario Kart thing isn't new either. It's AR. It exists. It's not a new thing.
Well, this wouldn't be AR though. It would be VR.
Yeah, give me a ride that exists like that.
With AR?
Just like Mario Kart.
I'm just saying you're combining existing technology with just a train on a track. Like it's nothing new.
Okay, but what's a ride like that?
The Spider-Man ride at Disneyland is the same thing.
Oh, the web shooter thing?
Yeah.
I've never been on that, so I can't say for certain.
I'm just saying it's the same thing, except you're not wearing goggles. It's just a screen that is in front of you that's doing the AR. But it's the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that then.
To stay in the spirit of the question here, then to me the next thing that should happen is there should be some sort of force feedback where something like so stuff's hitting you and you're like feeling.
I just don't think people would like that. I think you would have to have the option to turn it off.
Well, you kind of had that with the Void, though, right? Like when you got hit by a blast, like you could feel it, like it vibrated.
Yeah, but I'm saying is that there was also a lot of signs around that said, "Hey, this, that, and the other thing." I feel like Disney just has to cater to this large audience. So I just don't see them doing something like that. Yeah. But that would be cool.
That is what they do.
They need to sell the ride the same as they do Mission Space, where you've got the green side.
I don't know how Mission Space still exists, to be honest with you.
You get the boring side, and then you get the good side, right?
But I think the boring side even makes people sick.
Yeah, I know, but it's still the boring side, and the good side is the orange side.
The boring side and the good side. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, like. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You know what I want to see. Remember years ago we talked about they had patented this thing where it was basically like Peter Pan's Flight, where it was like a track on the ceiling, but it was like the car underneath was like a pendulum, like where it could swing back and forth. And we had like speculated they were going to make a Spider-Man ride where you could go through like a city and like move through scenes. Like that's cool, right? Like that's not a thing that exists, but like we're kind of at a point now where like almost everything's getting done, right? Like, because even like
it's just iterating on existing ideas, right?
Exactly, right? Like, because even like I'll say like the Hagrid's ride at Universal looks really cool, right? But pretty much every element on that ride has been done before, right? Like drop tracks are not a new thing. Like they're like maybe the 10th or 11th coaster that's done a drop track, right? Like going forward and then having several launches, not a new thing. So I'm just saying, like, as cool as Hagrid's looks, right? And I obviously haven't been on it, but I have watched a lot about it and watched ride-ons and all that kind of stuff. Like, most of the elements there are familiar elements, right? Like, they're things that have been done before. So, like, even a ride that feels innovative like that is still iterating on things that have already been done, right? Like, and I mean, Velocicoaster, again, also looks like a cool coaster, but I don't know, is there anything unique about that?
Coasters are different, though. But the coasters are different because you have all different, forces put on your body and things like that. Yeah. So they can be different, even just being a coaster. Like Lightning Rod to me was one of my favorite coasters, especially the first time I rode it. And there was nothing different about it, but it was a wooden launch coaster. Maybe it was the first wooden launch coaster, but to me, that's just semantics. Like wooden launch coaster.
That's you're just combining things. Like that's kind of the same. Like that's what we're saying is that people are just iterating on existing ideas.
But I think Mario Kart's going to be different. I think it's going to feel different. I don't know. I can't wait
because it's Mario and Mario's cool, and we all have to respect.
Because it's AR. It's got AR. I think AR is kind of a cool thing. Instead of VR, I think AR is neat. I think that's the big difference for me. I think VR on the ride has been done. Kraken, that's been done at SeaWorld and other places. But I think the AR is where it's going to be kind of cool. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad ride. Like, I don't want anyone to misinterpret what I'm saying here, right? Like, because I'm not saying it's going to be a bad ride or anything. I'm just saying that the ride-throughs I've looked at have been kind of bummed by because, and truthfully, I said this too, maybe the camera can't capture the AR very well, right? Like, but it looks like it looks like it's all over the place. Like it's like the actual images are not syncing up to where they're supposed to be. The actual quality looks bad, but I'm sure it's probably not, right? Like I'm sure it's not.
Keep in mind, keep in mind YouTube, like unless you're getting like a proper HD video, a lot of times you get compression or it'll be like 30 frames, and you won't.
I don't know.
You won't see.
I'm watching it again right now.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm just saying, man. The ones I've seen have not.
Well, first of all,
like
the queue looks redonk.
the queue looks really good. Yeah, no, it does. It looks good. I'm just saying, man. It I'm sure it's a good ride. I don't know. I mean, have to see.
I don't know, man. This looks ridiculously cool.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying what I've seen. It just looks whatever to me. It just.
Nah, this looks like it's the best ride to ever exist right now. And I just wish I could ride it.
I mean, the queue is just entirely like, it's just Super Mario World. Like,
yeah.
And Nintendo has to be more recognizable than Mickey, I feel like. It just has to be.
It is. Yeah. It's far more international. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with us for that, but
they're wrong.
It is.
I don't know what else to tell you. You're just wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, we could probably
2025, man, and then we won't even have to talk about it anymore. It will just be go ride it.
I don't even know if I want.
Welcome Home podcast goes to Universal for the grand opening of the new land.
Oh, that would be a dream.
Are you watching the same videos I'm watching of like this terrible looking animation and it bouncing around, Damon? Like, what are you talking about? I'm not crazy. I'm looking at it. Awesome. It looks terrible. Like, you can't tell me it looks good on video. You can't tell me it looks good on video.
I'm telling you right now, it looks good on video.
It looks bad on video.
I mean, you can feel that way. I mean, you'd be wrong. I was
but disappointed when I saw it. I was so excited. I was very excited about this ride, and I thought it looked terrible when I saw a read through of it. I mean,
I just don't think you have the same feel of Mario Kart as a lot of us do.
But what does that even mean? Like,
I mean, it means exactly what it means. I mean, like,
we're
just huge Mario Kart
in
people.
love with it just
players.
Because it's Mario and not because it's quality. Like,
show of hands, because none of us are on video. Who's played the new tracks in Mario Kart 8?
I have not.
Oh! I guess David's not a fan either. Look at that.
I've not played the new.
I haven't done it either, but I also have not had time to play video games at all. So
right. So
this looks ridiculously good. I don't know what you're watching. You want me to send you a link? I think maybe you're
as
watching
a Mario Kart fan. Like, they haven't messed it up. That's the only thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I watched a whole video of a Universal apologist making excuses for how bad it was. Like, literally, that was how he was like, "Oh, obviously it's very difficult to do this," and like, literally, there was the whole video. Like, it just got recommended to me and started playing, and I was watching it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Awesome.
I mean, the AR peaks. Yeah. Oh my! Are you kidding? Like, I want to know what you're watching, because here, look, I'm going to send you what I just watched.
I hope it's the same one I'm watching.
I mean, all I know is that the video's blurry and the images are bouncing all over the place. Yeah.
Why haven't you watched this video? This is terrible. Here, I'm going to send
literally the first result that came up. Literally,
somebody not using a stabilizer.
Yeah, that's terrible, right, Trevor?
Yeah.
Go watch this one, man.
But even like the quality doesn't look good. I'll watch that one.
Yeah, that one's way better. Right. I don't know, man. We're like a half an hour in. All right, good. Next question. This one's specifically for me. All right, so Dan's asking, I'm headed to Disney on Friday, and what will likely be the last time as a whole family, with my son being a senior this year, and we don't plan on going back next year. Been going through old pictures of the kids in the parks and reliving old memories. I was wondering if Damon had some similar thoughts on his recent trip with his family. So I think that the difference is that you kind of have this, what will likely be the last time as a whole family, with my son being a senior in college or a senior in high school. I mean, even as a senior in college, I don't understand why that would be the last time as a whole family. That's, again, like, we're already planning to go to Disney next year, June. My son's, my oldest is in college this year. So I don't necessarily think that would be the last time. I think that there may be a little bit of a gap in between where he gets a little bit older and gets married but doesn't have kids, will they come? I still think they'll come, to be honest with you, but we'll see. So I don't necessarily see it as a last time yet. But it's been interesting because, I talked about the photo project I've been working on with Amazon, and I think that's been fun for me and definitely reliving some of those memories as part of those pictures, which is why I was kind of bummed about the whole situation with, Photo Pass this time, and they didn't do it, but it definitely was not going to be cost effective for the amount of places that we went and what we did. But yeah, I definitely had some of those thoughts, but I think maybe not as like last, but maybe different, I want to say. I think that was maybe a little bit what it was. But, again, I think this photo project has, I love it. Like I said, I'm still not even done with it. I'm at 200 and something thousand pictures, and I still got a lot more to go. But what's been nice is that since my son, is just starting college, what I've been doing is that I've been going into Amazon Photos, and I've been searching for pictures of him at different times of the year. And then I send him an email each day because it's tough with, how busy they are in college and things like that. So I send him an email every day. That way, he can read it when he wants. And I take one of the pictures from one of the years, that we did something. And I write, a couple sentences about it, as I'm asking him how everything else is going to school. But it's been fun. And some of the pictures that I've sent, I know I sent one Disney picture already, and I'm sure I'll send a multitude more in the future. So it has been nice, but yeah, I don't know again if I would necessarily consider it my last, but it didn't feel like the last for me, right? It didn't feel different. It felt more different from him going to school, but not necessarily like, hey, he's not coming on vacation. So I don't know.
That's first of all, sorry, that's very sweet of you, Damon, to be sending emails to your son like that. I think that's very wholesome.
No, I try. Like I said, I think that's a lot of people forget like what those pictures mean, right? Like, so it's always been nice to have them. I agree.
Yeah.
So,
just a bit of my own thoughts around that, just because I'm thinking about, I remember when I was like that age and my parent, like we took like our last family trip together as like my parents' family. Mm-hmm. And so, I kind of did the same thing where I was around 18 or 19. We went and we had this last trip, and, I kind of get Dan's sentiment around that. But since then, my parents have come on trips with my family or, my brother's family and all that kind of stuff. So I think I feel, or I know what you're talking about when you're saying it's different. Like it's like a phase change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's not that, the family's never going to go again, but it's going to be different groups potentially, or you're going to do different trips. And, it's weird, but it won't feel weird once you start doing it. Right.
No. And it's different from the aspect of you're kind of used to doing a Disney trip a certain way. Like this time, I think one of the big things was my kids, my two boys went and did the parks on their own a little bit later at night, or if they didn't want to do something with us necessarily, they went to a different park for a little while, not for any length of time. But again, if we were, like, hey, I'm going back to the room, it's 9:00, and they're like, oh, wait, the park's open till 11. All right, we'll just see you back at the room. The best part about that was like, hey, so can you guys send me any pictures of what you did? And they're like, yeah, okay. And some of the best pictures I got of the trip were I wasn't even there, right? Like I wasn't even there. They got some really fun pictures while they were out. And it's, kind of a growing experience. I think again, you guys are in a different scenario because you just have one right now. But I think as when you have more, my goal has always been to make sure that they're all going to be there for each other when we're gone, right? That's kind of part of that overall plan that I kind of feel like as a parent. So I think it's been different because it's been nice to see them do stuff together. You know what I mean? Like as their own little group, even if it doesn't necessarily always mean that we're with them, because that's what life's going to bring them. And I like that. Like to me, that makes me happy, even if I'm not there. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thought, but that's kind of how I feel about it. So.
Yeah, that that makes sense. I understand that, our situation, my son's an only child, and, that's not going to change, but, we're obviously going to be, as far as he's concerned, until, we stop going on trips ourselves, he'll keep coming with us. But I fully expect as he gets older, the same as me and my wife found each other and started doing it, like he's going to do the same thing. It's going to be, he's going to find, whatever that looks like for him. Right. Like it's, he'll form his own connections and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I know what you mean. It's, once they kind of start doing it, and even my son's at that phase himself where he's starting to, like same thing. It's not like going off like on a trip on his own, but, he's off with his friends. And, we were so used to like having to drive him everywhere and having to, be there or be involved somehow. And now it's like, we're kind of stepping back too and being like, okay, you know what? Yeah. You're going off with your friends. Okay. We'll see you later. And
yeah, it's where you really start to realize,
yeah,
did I make the right choice getting married or not?
It's
because there's a lot of people that I know that are thinking to themselves, I already know it. They're like,
yeah,
maybe I didn't make the best choice back then.
Yeah.
Listen, I gotta go, but I gotta talk about two things real quick, and then you guys can do the ad. This H2O stuff is like crazy for me. I love that stuff. I know people don't necessarily love it. I love it. I feel like Disney not commenting on a replacement is tough. I'm just hopeful that it's at least a luxury type brand, but I feel like it's not going to be, and that hurts. Like I don't know. That's just how I feel.
It's gonna be like Suave or something. Like,
well, and you know what's so crazy? I don't even feel like I care about if it was Suave or what's the other one? The one that's got the conditioner built in. Was it like starts with a P? It starts with a P. It's not
Pantene.
Prel or something, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, right? I feel like even if it was something like that, but it had like a Disney scent, I could even get on board with it. But whatever they put, please Disney it up. Whatever it is as a replacement, make it be the only scent. Like, make that scent be only available at Disney, please. That's what I would ask for that. And then the Moana stuff. I am so looking forward to this. Like, you have absolutely no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
I love water, like, except the ocean because I don't want to get sharked. But, like, outside
but
of that.
Sharks in the ocean, you'd be about the ocean.
I mean, I guess if there was no sharks and then there was no barracuda and there was no
jellyfish,
jellyfish.
I don't like jellyfish.
It's even jellyfish. Jellyfish don't even bother me. Like, it's got to be the Man of War people.
Megalodon.
Yeah. What'd you say? The Kraken?
Yeah. I have an irrational fear of deep water. I think you missed. I don't
love deep water either. But
I don't like that either, man. You don't know what's down there. Like no one knows what's down there. Like
I know what's down there. Krakens and megalodons. That's the problem.
But I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a great thing, and I like where it is. I like how it should just eat people up right from the beginning of Epcot. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love everything about this, even though I've never seen the movie. Take that.
Yeah.
Ooh, spicy.
That's a good one.
I'm not a fan of The Rock, and my wife is a super fan of The Rock, which makes me really not a fan of The Rock.
That's funny.
I like Jumanji, but like, I don't love The Rock. I'll be honest with you. I can't like. So Moana was kind of one of those. I'm just like,
The Rock's just so overplayed at this point too. He's in everything, and just like, when's the last time he made something actually good? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never seen the movie, but I think that I feel like I'm gonna have to watch it before I go see this thing. I don't know.
Minus Dwayne Johnson, the movie's definitely its own vibe. Like I like it just for the vibe of it. Like, yeah.
I might, like I said, there's just too many things that are going to call back to the film for me to not have watched it. So I guess I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
maybe. Before you go, Damon, though, I watched your little video. There's none of the AR stuff in your video that you sent. It's all the physical sets, which look very cool, but none of the AR. The AR is what I have the problem with.
Did you see the spot where they're pulling away?
Yeah, that's the only part of the AR you get. Look at the official Universal
So hold on a
video.
second. You just said there was no AR.
That's the only part, but the rest of it is not there. Like, you don't see like shooting shells or anything. Like, even the official Universal video looks bad to me. Like,
I can't even argue.
Looks good
with
in the
this
beginning,
because-
and then there's a part where Peach flips over, and it's so bad looking. I just go to 18 seconds on the video I just sent you. Go to 18 seconds and tell me that looks good.
Goodness, 18 seconds.
So
I have to watch this.
Just start at 17 and hit play.
No, I'm going to watch the whole thing because I'm looking forward to a groundbreaking ride. First of all, the carts look ridiculously cool.
No, listen, I'm not complaining about anything other than the AR. The rest of it looks very cool.
Okay, you said 17 seconds?
Yeah, like 17 seconds.
What is wrong with that? That looks fire.
It looks terrible. It looks so low quality, dude. It's like blurry. It's literally blurry and pixelated.
But no, you don't. It's so hard to I think Damon.
I'm just saying, if anybody, Universal would give us the best video version of it, right?
I'm gonna do this. I'm sorry, Tom.
Get him, Trevor.
This is the same thing with VR. If you don't do a lot of stuff in VR, you don't. Videos don't relay what you're actually seeing.
I admit that. I would say that it could. I'm just saying, like, you guys are telling me this looks great. I'm saying it looks bad, but I'm saying it probably looks way better in person. Hold on.
So, Tom, here's the thing. Pause it at 18 seconds.
Yeah, I'm there. Look how bad it looks.
Paused, right? It's paused, right?
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Hold on. Now look to the chomp to the left.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a physical thing. Look how
the physical sets look amazing. Yeah.
No, hold on. I'm saying, look at how bad and blurry his bottom teeth look.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying it just doesn't look great to me. That's all. It probably looks a lot better in person. It just everything I've seen, it doesn't look good.
But because again, if there's that much compression on his teeth over on the left, then I can understand why Peach looks like she was hand drawn in with mustard.
Just think Universal would have put their best foot forward on this. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it's them. I think it's the compression of YouTube.
It's probably yeah. So, but it just doesn't look good in this video. But like I said,
I still think it looks awesome. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, the physical sets look amazing, right?
I still think the AR looks pretty awesome. Peach flipping is just like, that's awesome.
It's so pixelated.
This all goes back. Man. Yeah, this is why I don't watch stuff on YouTube ahead of time. Like I try to avoid it, is because of stuff like this too, that it distorts what, like, until you actually see it, YouTube kind of distorts what it is you're supposed to be seeing.
Fair. Listen, and I'm not disagreeing with that point. Like I said, it probably looks way better in person. I'm just saying the videos I saw kind of bummed me out because I was hoping for something that looked better, but it probably does look better in person. I just, that's all. That's all I got. I'm done. I've made my point. That's it. So, are we losing you, Damon? Is he gone now? He's just okay.
I think he's out, which is fair. I know he had to go. So.
You guys are just so excited about this. You don't even want to look at reality. I get it.
I'm sorry. I've really been biting my tongue on the whole Mario Kart conversation because you don't know how much Mario Kart I've played in my life.
Listen, I get it.
They're like, this is huge to me, but I'm trying to not. To not come off as the most obsessive fanboy ever.
Well, listen, if you guys are just like saying, okay, it's going to be the greatest ride ever just because it's Mario, that's fine. Like, that's cool. Like, I'm okay with that, right? Like, I'm okay with that. I was just saying, like, when I first saw the video of it, I was like, oh, I was kind of hoping that was going to be more. You know what I mean? Like, and I just was like, I was kind of disappointed it wasn't a trackless ride. And I just, there's just some things there. So, like, that's all. I'm not even like trying to say that it's going to be bad or is bad. I'm just saying, like, the videos I saw kind of bummed me out. I thought it would be better, but maybe it is in person.
But that's the problem, is that you're saying it bums you out and you're disappointed, which is alluding to you think it's bad, which I know you're not saying that, but it automatically puts us fanboys on defense. And
of course. Right? There's literally in that video that I sent you guys, one of the recommended videos is a video that says, Super Mario World is better than you think. It's the title, right? And it's just like, that's the video I was talking about that I watched, where it was just this guy being like, okay, but, and like just giving a lot of excuses for a lot of things. And that's fine, right? Like, again, I've said this so many times, Trevor, right? Like, how many times have I said, experiencing something in person is 1,000 times different than watching the video of it online, right? Like, that's,
yes.
And I live by that. So I agree with that. I just, like, I don't know. I just wanted more of a glimmer of hope with that one, where I was going to get more excited about it and not less excited about it. You know what I mean?
I hate to say it, but until 3D YouTube videos become the norm, I don't like specifically like HD 3D YouTube videos, which like again, you can watch them in VR. So you get like, again, it's not like being there, but you get a much better idea of, a 3D space and like looking around and stuff like that. Until that becomes a regular thing, I don't think there's any YouTube video out there that will show you like what you're saying. A YouTube video will never give you,
doesn't do anything justice.
Yeah, a close to accurate representation of what it actually is. So
yeah. Listen, like I said, I'm just saying it looks bad, right? Like it just looks bad. I'm not saying it is bad. I'm just saying the videos I watched, I'm like, ooh, like that doesn't look great. Like, and like I said, a totally different experience in person, I'm sure. So, I mean, because like you can watch on-ride videos of just about anything and you're like, oh, wow, that looks awful. Like that's it just doesn't capture it the same way, And
do you know what the great thing is about that? Because okay, for every person that says, oh, that doesn't look good, or, I don't want to go there. And I know that's not what you're saying. Like, you're not saying I'm not going to go to Universal, but, for people that are turned off by that stuff, I secretly go, great, because then I can happily stand in line. For me. Yeah. And I can get on the ride more times and know that, well, you're missing out because you never went.
Yeah. No.
And then the funny thing is I've had a couple of people at work do this where they didn't know anything specifically about Disney. They didn't know. And then I kind of like, gave them some guidance, and then they go, and then they come back and they're like, oh my gosh, like I did not know what that was. And I'm like, yep. Like you had a bad idea in your head of what you thought it was. And it turns out that you were missing out. But I'm not going to try and explain why you're missing out.
Yeah. Listen, I also was expecting it to kind of be a faster ride, considering but I guess it would be hard to do faster while also trying to shoot at stuff, right? Because then you're like focused on how fast it's moving. But, and I was just also kind of surprised because that's, Universal usually tries to do the more, the faster things. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this isn't just Universal though, right? Because it's Nintendo as well. Yeah. And I feel Nintendo kind of plays it the same way as Disney in that sense.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, we did have one more listener question before we get to the ad.
Do we have to do it? Like,
well, I mean, this is an easy one. So Dan said, I'll be in the park in 2 weeks. I haven't seen either of the new nighttime shows at Magic Kingdom or Epcot. Do you think I need to see either one in particular? We're in the park for 4 days. I'll likely catch Epcot because we're likely to be there in the evening for food and wine. Am I really missing out with not seeing Enchantment? I mean, it's no happily ever after. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't seen it yet. That's the one that I have not seen. I've been waiting to kind of see it with my wife. And so, I mean, we plan on seeing it this next trip, right? We have seen Harmonious, though. Trevor and I watched it together, and I also watched it with my wife. And, it's good. It's yes. I liked it. I saw, someone in the Facebook group say that they thought it was like a one and done for them, and that's fine. I thought it was a really cool show. A lot of people didn't like Illuminations either. So, I love that show. So I get it.
Yeah. But
I mean,
Yeah, I think Harmonious is definitely a huge step above.
I think so.
Illuminations. So,
well, especially technology wise, and just show wise, yeah.
So at the very least, I think Dan, definitely catch Harmonious. Like I said, Enchantment again. It's a hard thing because I'm still hurt about Happily Ever After because I feel it didn't get a long enough run to begin with.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean. I guess the way to look at it is, if you're going to be back later, why do you need to see both of them in one go?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, I don't know. Whatever you do, just don't watch it from Top of the World because it's a waste of your time.
That's fair.
Anyway, but all right. So do you want to do the ad really quickly here? Yeah.
All right. DVC Resale Market, a world of DVC companies, the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2021, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, that's 382-7767. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. Thank you, Trevor.
Yep.
You know what's funny? I saw somebody say that I brought this up one time, and somebody thought that we like pre-recorded our ads. And I was like, really? I was like, I feel like it's pretty clear that we don't. Like,
I wish we were smart enough to do that, but
it's not about being smart enough. I just like doing it live better.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we can like relate to what we're talking about in the episode, or like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
I don't feel like I want to talk about this DVC news. I mean,
the saving on Disney Cruise Line voyages in late 2022.
Yeah, so they need to fill some staterooms on the cruise line, so they're offering 35% off for DVC members at the end of the year. There you go.
I have no reference to what any of this even means, because it says the offer is available only to stateroom category 04A to 11C. Is that just good or bad, or like?
It's steerage. You have to shovel coal on your vacation. I actually don't know. Someone could probably comment. I don't know the cruise line as well as anything else. So just because we haven't done it. So, and even if I did 100 cruises, I don't think I would know what 04A to 11C means. Like I wouldn't remember that. But that's the category they're trying to book. I'm gonna guess it's more expensive. Maybe, I don't know.
The one point here that DVC points applied towards non-DVC destinations are converted into reservation points. The booking is later canceled. Reservation points may not be used towards stays at DVC resorts. So this is for some things, this is you better be sure you want to do it.
Well, but they're also giving 35% off for cash, right? So you could do cash points or cash. So.
Okay, so
but still, so you can use cash if you don't want to use points.
I just if it got canceled or whatever, like I mean, to me, I like cruises seem like a lot, and if there's like, sorry, you can't rebook this or you can't do anything with it after, doesn't make me feel very good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But
I definitely, never mind. I was just going to say something I'm not going to say anymore.
Let's move off of cruise line on to skincare products, because that's a good transition.
This is pretty big news though, because I know my wife is pretty obsessed with the H2O Plus products that are Disney branded. I mean, they are super expensive, right? So like for those that like to hoard these, and I don't want to say steal them from the room, because that has a bad connotation. You paid for that room and therefore are entitled to those toiletries, right?
Well, I feel like now it's so the last time when we were there, like the room I was in, they had the bottles stuck to the wall. So unless you're bringing your own baggie and filling it up.
Some of the rooms don't have the pumps still, right? So like, it just depends on where you're staying. So not all of them have the pumps. A lot of them do. But so anyway, they basically announced that after 33 years, this company H2O Plus is shutting down. They don't really say why. They just say they're shutting down. Yeah. Right. So
it's kind of weird because H2O Plus wasn't owned by Disney, right? Like it was just it was another company, and
third party that decided, that they did partnerships with, because I mean they had like a special line of like 50th anniversary stuff, like they're pretty. I mean, I'm sure Disney was probably their biggest customer, I would assume, because this was their stuff in all their resorts and all of the the cruise line, and like you would think that they would. Yeah, that alone.
Yeah, that makes me wonder. I can't imagine it was a financial thing, because if you're contracted to Disney, like.
Seems like you'd probably have it in the bag right there. Like, you never have to do anything else unless they paid like almost nothing for the products, right? Like, because with some of the companies that Disney works with, and this has always been a rumor, that they don't pay for the syrup for like Coca-Cola because of the sponsorship deal, that they literally don't pay for it at all. Because
they make a deal like, because we're promoting it, or this many people come through the parks. It's, this is the deal we give you, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's true or not. Like, that's just been a rumor for a long
Yeah.
time, right? And I also kind of a little bit assume that they, their partnership with, I think the partnership is with Mars Candy now, the one that they've been advertising in the Main Street Bakery, a partnership with a candy company. So I'm going to assume that they're going to, get a lot of that candy supplied for the Halloween parties at a very low cost, just based on the sponsorship. I'm betting that's built into it. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't pay that much for these things, and it wasn't working out for them as much. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess if Disney was asking for huge shipments and they were operating at a loss, that could have done it. And but then I guess that also begs the question, because like I know, I think Damon mentioned before he left that this stuff was kind of expensive outside of Disney.
Yeah, it is.
Which again, I don't know if I've ever actually seen it here, because a lot of these products I would only ever see it at the parks. So I guess I wasn't paying too much attention to if I could find it locally or not. But yeah, I guess
it's pricey. Even if you buy it in the parks, like to take home, because my wife went to go buy some, and it's pricey stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, that could have been it. Is that just they kind of priced themselves out of a market, and they couldn't keep it up. So
yeah, I mean that's certainly possible. So I mean, yeah, it is interesting. I mean, and I don't know if Disney is shocked by this, like if they knew it was coming, or it should be interesting to see what happens here, because obviously Disney needs somebody to be a provider of toiletries, right? Like they're not, like we were joking before about Suave, but like where are they they can't just go out and like get something like that right away that's going to be co-branded, and unless they talk to the company and like they're going to provide it through the end of the year, and then Disney will figure out something after that. I don't know, but
I have to wonder if maybe this is something kind of like mirrors. I know, like, so all right, hold on.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What?
Yeah. So how like the Mirrors contract for the Magical Express, like because of COVID and everything.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't just COVID. I think they Disney's been looking at other ways, or I think with the Bright Line and stuff, I think they were like, yeah, we don't need to do Magical Express anymore and all that. I wonder if maybe this is something kind of like that, where, again, not necessarily COVID or anything else, but, maybe they've been looking at this contract for a while and realized that, maybe the price for them was too high. Maybe it was that, H2O was charging them too much, and maybe Disney put it out for, put it to RFP, or, request for proposal, so different companies can bid on it and all that. And maybe H2O just lost out on it, which, that may have been enough that H2O looked and said, yeah, if we don't have this huge company, that tanks, our company. Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just speculation, but, hopefully, like Damon said, whatever comes in is, better than bottom of the barrel, or, whatever you would find at your local motel that, hasn't updated themselves in 30 years. Right.
Yeah.
You all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Of course.
You stay at that one place that's like, oh, it looked nice, but you realize that, that they haven't like done anything to the rooms for years and stuff like that. So,
yeah. It's going to be, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Right. Because I think Disney, part of the reason why they worked with them, right, is that they were like very, I don't know, like eco-friendly, or it was all very like
water-based products, so it's supposed to be more ecological than most.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know who they're going to replace them with. Listen, Disney has a pretty deep staple of people that are willing to, of companies that are willing to go into an official sponsorship with them. You get an insane amount of exposure for that, right? I mean, this is a brand that existed before Disney, but probably not as nearly as popular as it was after Disney, right? So, if Disney would have just ended it and they would have continued, they certainly would not be as popular, right? But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I really have no idea. I'm kind of surprised they haven't said anything, but maybe they're still working on it. I mean, maybe they really maybe this took them by surprise too. It's possible.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe they didn't know it was coming either, and now they're having to scramble. I'm just trying to think. I've been racking my brain here as you were going through that last thought about, if Disney decide to do their own, what kind of terrible pun for soap could they do? Like, I'm trying to think of like a name brand of soap based on like a Disney IP that, I don't know.
Trying to think of a notoriously dirty Disney character too, like someone that like is known for not bathing.
Well, even I'm thinking of like I don't know,
like there's some Stitch. There's some Stitch in there, right? Like
or like something.
You're thinking of
like,
a pun though to name the soap.
Yeah,
is what you're saying. Okay,
I keep going to like Part of Your World from Little Mermaid, but I don't know how that would work into a soap pun.
Diz soap. I mean, they'd probably just do something simple. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
guess we'll have to wait to hear.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait to hear. But I know I actually, they had everything marked down on Shop Disney, and I just went on there right now, and like all of it's gone. It's a completely sold.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah,
yeah. It was funny actually when this announcement came out. I actually saw a meme of it beforehand where I didn't know what it was, and it was like somebody saying, me going through the Orlando airport, and it was a TSA agent looking in the bag, and then it shows the bag, and it's just rows of H2O.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Things, and I was like, okay, I guess you really like it. And then I saw, oh yeah, they're shutting down. Okay, that makes sense. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Last time when we stayed there in, I guess when was it, November, and we did the one night at the cabin. The cabin had the individuals, right?
Oh, and so you looted it?
100. I said to my wife, I was like, those are going right in the bag.
Yep, that's fair.
And for what you pay for that room, if you were to pay cash for that room, you should be able to loot whatever you want from that room. You should be able to take things off the wall.
No, don't say that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't want to show up at a Disney room and have it like empty, like fixtures and bed is gone and everything.
I more mean that it's so expensive, that it. Yeah, it's absurdly.
The bed is nailed down because they don't want people taking the bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyway, by the way, I'm looking at these Moana pictures, right? And I'm not gonna lie, when we were there, they were still, and this was 3 months ago, right? So obviously, there's been a lot of progress, but I didn't realize they made this much progress. Where there's like that one piece is like looks like it's done, the one with the Moana swirl, yeah, like that was not even close to done when we were there, right? Like, because they were still just like the wire forms at that point. So I methe these pictures look pretty cool, man. I'm with Damon. I'm very psyched about this whole thing. I think it looks awesome. I love it. It's so Epcot, like the whole like water cycle thing. It's got everything going for it in my mind. So
yeah, the things that I like about this is, one, I like how the stonework is mossy. They thought about that. They didn't just do like, here's some rocks, but like they pre-did, how rocks look after they've been exposed to water for a period of time, or moss or algae is growing on it, right? And I have to wonder if a lot of people have been lamenting about the fiber optics in the flooring.
Oh yeah.
I feel like this swirl, they're not showing it at night for a reason.
Oh, you think it's going to light up? Yeah.
Oh, I
can see it. Yeah, I can see that.
I can see it having a fiber optic thing in it where it, it does the same effect that the stone does in Moana, right? So.
No, I agree with you though. Like I do think that they will probably light this up. And I will say too that, so far it looks like the Moana touches are very subtle. I know the big circle piece there, but like, it's not like, doesn't have Moana written all over it. And they do have like a little carving of Moana, but that could just be anybody, right? Like it doesn't even look like Moana to me.
Is that Moana or is that maybe Te Fiti?
It says Moana. It says it's Moana. So in the article, it says above is behind the scenes look at World Princess Week. Principal sculpting a foam. I don't know how do you say that word, maquette of Moana for this attraction. So yeah. It actually does say it's Moana in there. But I also like too, we talked about this on a couple episodes ago, just like the rock work and how they make it look like there's like cuts in the rock and like it just looks like it's natural rock. It looked like it grew there,
Yeah.
Rock grew there, but I mean, rock doesn't grow. But it looks like it was there, and it got cut by water over the years.
Properly eroded and shaped as it would in a natural environment.
Exactly.
Like how many reference pictures do you think they would have to take for their sculptors to get this?
I don't know, man. I don't sculptor like as someone who's not artistic at all, right? Like I am always blown away at the work that people like sculptors do and painters and all this, the craftsmanship that goes into this stuff. And the sad thing is a lot of people are not going to appreciate those aspects of it, right? There's and that's the stuff that always bothers me is like the details, like the little details of the things that I really get into. Like I love the little details of stuff. And this is one of those things where they're putting a lot of work into the details.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about now, like, you're talking about the artistic people. There's somebody out there that was told, probably years ago, go to remote places and take as many pictures of rocks as you can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Actually,
they probably just have a rock catalog somewhere in the Imagineering offices of like just a giant binder of just a bunch of rock pictures.
But I feel that they probably add to it as time goes on because you look at how things were done years ago and more and more they want to get more lifelike, more detail and everything. Like some of these that I'm looking at, like it looks, there's different types of volcanic formations. Like if you really get into how rocks are formed, like, I mean, that's a whole discipline in and of itself. So I'm sure they have, they probably have a geologist on staff somewhere that they're consulting on this stuff too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. The rock work stuff is always the craziest stuff to me. So, but who knows? I'm hoping we get an opening season for this at D23. Because I mean, work is moving pretty quickly on this thing. So I my guess is that it's going to be sometime first quarter next year, if I had to guess. Maybe like a February or March kind of deal. We'll have to see though. I still want to do a live stream, by the way, for D23. We need to talk about that, but
yes, we do,
and just make that the episode. We'll just do that. Yeah.
Or maybe so can I like a live stream might be, or I don't know. I was thinking because we can we were talking about how we can do record or we can now add video when we do these recordings, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily a live stream, but maybe we do an extended feature or we do like a live stream recap or not live stream recap, but you and I can watch D23 and then have it recorded and then play it back. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
We could do that. I mean, we probably can't stream the audio or the video, right? Like that's one of the things we probably need Disney's permission for, right? So, but we can react to what's happening, right? So
I think that's exact. Yeah, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Is do a react type video, maybe make it like an extended episode of one of these podcasts where we actually have a react built into it.
But I want to do it live, Trevor.
Well, I don't know if we can. I don't know what
live reactions. So we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Actually, hold on. Let me look at the 11th. What do I have?
Got to figure that out. And I don't even know what time it is for you because I think it's like 1:30 Eastern. I think it's like 10:30 in the morning on the West Coast. So it's 11:30 for you.
So that would actually overlap with when we usually record the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. But it's on a Saturday, not a Sunday, right?
Oh, it's the 11th is Sunday.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought it was on Saturday. I don't know why. Okay.
Nope.
I'm glad we're planning out what we're going to do while we're recording. So,
isn't this what we normally do? I thought this is how we rolled around here.
So, Trevor, the park pass system. They've made some changes to the park pass system. Minor changes. Now you can modify a park pass instead of canceling and then booking a new one, which, funny enough, I actually already used because after I saw this, I was like, did I change that one day that we're going to change up all this stuff? Because we found out that my in-laws are coming a different day or coming later than we anticipated. So
right. So this was like your day with Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and Hoopty Doo.
Oh no, we're not even doing Bibbidi Bobbidi, but this is different. This is the second half of the trip. So so we were going to do a park on Thursday, but they're coming in later on Thursday. So now we're going to go to Peppa Pig in the morning, And we were initially going to go to a park, and now we're going to go to that park on Monday instead. We were going to do Monday as just like a whatever day, it's like a chill day. So now we're going to do Thursday as a chill day. And then, so we had to move it around. But I thought I had changed it, but I had not. Which, was not good either, because I was changing it to a day that is a holiday. So, yeah, because that Monday is a holiday. So I forget which one, but it's a holiday. And
Canadian Thanksgiving, you better recognize it
on the 12th or
yes.
Not 12th, the 10th. The 10th.
Yes,
really? Wow, okay.
that is Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I'll be celebrating Thanksgiving at Magic Kingdom. So
no, you won't.
Yeah,
don't
I
lie.
will.
You won't.
I'll have a turkey leg for you.
They won't have. Okay, fine. You can have a turkey. I was gonna say they won't have anything Thanksgiving.
I'll have a turkey leg with maple syrup on it. That'll be. They should have like a maple glazed turkey leg to celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh, you're just not making this sound good at all.
I think it sounds maple glaze sounds good to me.
But not those turkey legs,
lips, right? So yeah, I think we talked about this on the show. I've never done a turkey leg before, and because it's too intimidating for me. Every time I've seen someone eating it, I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to eat all that, and even if I share it with somebody, it's not going to all get eaten, and I don't want to waste it. So it's not happening, right? Like that's the only reason I've never done it, but. Anyway, so now you can book up to 30 people at a time instead of the current limit of 12, and you can modify dates and parks without canceling and then having to rebook it. So that's a big change, and it's a good one.
And you missed one other feature here. People who have single day tickets and annual pass holders can be combined on the same reservation as well. So
yes,
yeah.
Although that does not seem to be working, by the way, unless it's only for new reservations, because mine are still all separated out. But
right. Well, yeah, maybe that's the case. Because yours is existing, you may have to, it may only be on new ones. So
yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is because mine are all still separated out, and it was kind of a pain too, because like when I had to book it, because my wife and I are annual pass holders and nobody else is, right? So I had to book for us first. And then for everybody else after, or vice versa, right? So like, it's just kind of a pain. And this is definitely helpful now. But I really need to get on top of like ordering magic bands and, all the other stuff I got to do. But yeah, the park reservation thing to me has not been a problem. I have not had an issue with it, but I know it's a sticking point for a lot of folks. So
yeah. And I was going to say, I think, these changes are definitely, I think that's leaning towards, like you say, we've had some of our listeners, we've seen the comments on Facebook and everywhere about how restrictive the park pass system feels. Yeah. But, this opening up, it is, obviously it's not going away. And I know people want it to go away, which, I don't think it's going to, but I think it's going to get to a point where it's flexible enough that it's not an issue. Part about, not having to cancel and then, book a new day or, like it's sounding more and more like it's becoming just you go into the app, change it, done, move on with your day. Right. Like it's not as big of a chore, which leans back towards the spontaneous flexibility that I think a lot of people were missing before this. Yeah.
I mean, but Trevor, even when you and I were there, I mean, we were pretty spontaneous, right? Like we park hopped like a bunch of times. Like we were all over the place that day, like it wasn't like
both days.
It wasn't a big deal.
We bounced between both parks both days.
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but like, even I looked ahead at like the calendar and like the only dates I saw that were filled up, and actually, it was only one date that was filled up, or that there were like one or two parks not available. Like literally Christmas is wide open last time I looked. Or like, which I don't even know, can you book this far out? I guess for annual passes, maybe you can, but
but I would also, I would expect between now and like we're hitting September, I can bet you by the end of October, Christmas will be full up.
Oh yeah. Listen, this is terrible if you're somebody that doesn't want to plan anything, is more of a last minute person, is just likes to be completely spontaneous and not plan anything. Like that, I get why that is a problem, right? Like, you know,
Or,
but that
or
was
you're
always,
just,
yeah.
crazy and, book a trip on December 24th and show up and expect to get in. Like,
yeah. And I mean, like, but it's also like too that, you know, that was a problem for you with FastPass in the past, right? Like, or dining reservations. Like, there's always been an element to Disney that you had to plan ahead of time or else you put yourself in a bad position. But at the same time, like I've always said this, right? Like, you know, you can still have a good time without, you know, a dining reservation or without, you know, having a fast pass or, you know, like there's plenty of great stuff you can still do. And it's all up to you how you spend your vacation, right? Like, and at the end of the day, it's up to you. So
I think it's also a matter of conditioning yourself not to have the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
I think that's where a lot of this comes from is, you know, people inherently, when they hear there's, only a certain amount of people get in, or only, they have limited access this day.
Sure,
That's always been a thing. There's always been a capacity on Disney, right? Like it physically, there has to be. The thing is, now it's far more transparent. And I think because of that, a lot of people have created this idea in their head that, well, now I'm going to miss out. Right. Like but it was always,
to be fair though, it very rarely, there was like
exactly
almost never where they would stop you from going in the park. Right. Like there was occasional times like on like New Year's or Christmas, like where they would shut it down. Right.
New Year's, Christmas and Easter. Those have always been like that. Like this, I guess that's the thing that gets me about this is, people saying, well, it's not as spontaneous or, I have to think about it. It's like, that was always an issue. There was always a concern with these places being booked up, especially around busy holidays. But, you could, so even with the system, if you're not going at a super busy time, you can decide a day ahead which park you're going to want to go to, or even, the day of. You can say, I'm booking a reservation. I'm going this day, but as you make the decision, it's like, because like you said, I can't recall there ever being a point where it was like, Magic Kingdom is completely booked on like a random day in September.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's not a thing.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, listen, I understand why people are bothered by it, especially those that don't like to plan stuff ahead of time. I get that. Totally understand completely. But I said this before, though, too. Like, you essentially had to make a park pass before when you had to book fast passes ahead of time, right? Like, when you had to
you were committing.
You were picking a park. You were committing to a park by picking fast passes, right? Like,
and dining reservations. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're right. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just a different thing that you have to do, right? But it was the same thing. I mean, 60 days out, you had to say, oh, I want to go to Magic Kingdom on this day because I'm going to book all my fast passes there. Like that was required, right? Like, and someone will come back and well, oh, I never use fast pass. Well, that's fine. But like, you don't have to, you have to do it now to get into the park. But like, it's one extra step,
and that's the funny thing is that, because we don't have the 60-day fast passes, this actually, the park reservation system actually works against people's arguments of spontaneity.
Oh, sure.
Because, it works against people arguing against the spontaneity because before, like you said, you had to, anybody planning a trip that wasn't local, you had to book 60 days out. You had to be committing to and planning for really far in advance if you wanted to get certain things. But for, the park reservation system, you don't have to book 60 days out. It's the parks don't inherently fill up except for those, couple of particular days of the year. So it's actually better now for spontaneity than it was before.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, it is. It factually is because you don't have to, other than dining reservations, which like you said, you don't have to book those. You don't have to commit to a particular park and you can switch it, anytime up to like, before you go into the park.
Yeah.
So,
assuming there's availability, but I mean,
that's the asterisk, assuming there's availability. But again, that was always a thing. It's just, it wasn't transparent before whether the availability was there. You could actually run the risk of, getting all the way to the gate and finding out the hard way.
Yeah,
but now,
that's true.
But now that'll never happen.
Well, I think I told you the story of the show. An old friend reached out to me and was like, "I'm going to Magic Kingdom tomorrow, and there's no park passes available." I'm like, "Well, you didn't plan. They just would have been shut down. Like that's just and it's different, right? Because they're constraining attendance, right? So their capacity is not what it was, right? Like they used to have levels where it was like okay, only resort guests are allowed in, and now only one day tickets are in. Like there used to be levels of shutdown, right? And now they just don't have that anymore. And
it's just a full, like, you're either in or you're out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, before they were, and they were also, saying, they're just straight out saying, like, listen, first of all, they're still not completely fully staffed, right? They're getting back there, but they're not fully there yet. They're still working on it. But, they're also just artificially keeping it down which is something they've always wanted to do, by the way, right? Like, they've been trying to spread out demand and trying to spread out crowds for years because they know that less busy parks make happier guests spend more money. That's a fact, right? Like that's literally, and so they've been trying to do this for years. And then the park pass system comes as a necessity, during COVID. And then, they're just like, oh, well, this works out for us trying to spread demand. So we'll just keep this and not only spread demand, but also helps them operationally because they can unequivocally say, we've got 80,000 people coming to Magic Kingdom today. We need X amount of cast members to serve. I mean, it's not 80,000, but you know what I mean? Like, we need this many people to be available. And so that's better service for the guests that are there, right? Because there's more cast members there. They're there to help you. And maybe they also maybe will change the hours too, right? Like they know well ahead of time now how many people are going to be there. And they could say, oh, there's a lot of people there today. Oh, we'll add an hour onto Magic Kingdom. Which they've done before. I was at Magic Kingdom one day where they threw out a sign that said Magic Kingdom will now be open till midnight instead of 11. Like they just threw on an extra hour because they were extra busy. You know what I mean? Like they can do this stuff ahead of time now.
So can you imagine over the last year, like since things have started to open back up, if they didn't have the park pass system? Can you imagine how much worse it would have been because the same thing would have been happening, right? There's still always been the issues of, not having enough staff, them having to restrict access to the parks. But if people weren't able to know that they had access or not, can you imagine how much worse it would have been if, all of a sudden, they were letting people in and, just arbitrarily through a day, they just suddenly cut it off and say, no more people allowed in, or, forcing a lineup where it was like, as people were exiting the park, they were letting new people in and stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, like how crazy would that have been if Disney wasn't doing that? Right.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's again, I get a lot of people, saying that, they wish they could be spontaneous about, which, like I said, most of the time you can, but again, for those situations where it's like, hey, the park is limited or certain areas aren't up to staff, whatever, I would much rather find out ahead of time than be that person at the gate, walking up, trying to be spontaneous and finding out the hard way that, sorry, all that, you spent all this time getting here, turn around and go back home. Right. Like that's National Lampoon Vacation level of disappointment, in my opinion.
Yeah. Wally World's closed.
Sorry, folks. Park's closed.
Which, I'm sure everybody knows this. Like, I don't think that this is a secret, but it was supposed to be that they were going to Disneyland, right? Like, that was what it was supposed to be.
Licensing for it.
Well, no, see, I had read that it was because Disneyland was like, they were like, well, we don't close. So like we wouldn't be closed for weeks, so we don't want people to think that we're closed for weeks at a time. That was okay. Which, although when Disneyland first opened, they did have seasons; they were seasonal. But
right, I just thought it was that Disney was just like, nah,
that could be it too. I mean, that could be it too. I had just read before that they literally were just like, oh, we don't want people to think that we closed. But I don't know how true that is. Again, who knows how true that is, right? So
yeah.
So
anyway,
right in time for my trip, by the way, right in time for, speaking of pass holders, as we were talking about before, right?
Okay. Yes.
So the right in time for my trip, September 14th through October 14th, the annual pass holder merchandise discount is going to go from 20% to 30%. That's great news for me. That's gonna take a whole nother 10% off my vacation right there. Well, from the merchandise portion of my vacation anyway.
Yep. If only I could get an annual pass.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because you were holding out. You were waiting.
I was. Well,
yeah.
because I had to keep rescheduling my trip, so there was no point in buying an annual pass. And of course, by the time I rescheduled this trip, they've, discontinued sales of them for the foreseeable future. So
yeah, it's interesting because I was reading, I think, I don't remember which site I was reading, but it was one of the Disney blogs that follows this kind of stuff. And they had predicted that Disney was going to reinstate restart sales of annual passes this month. Because this is, when things slow down. This is the technical off season of Disney. Starts in like end of August, essentially, right?
Right.
It's because all the kids go back to school, the summer's over. Like it technically is the off season. So, and that's typically when they need more attendance. But the fact that they're not selling them again kind of tells me that they are still expecting a lot of busy parks over the next couple months, and people are still doing this revenge travel thing. So.
And I have to wonder, maybe it's also because they're still doing the 50th celebration. I know the revenge travel has been a thing, but I have to wonder if Disney is planning it according to, they know that they've got a big thing going on with the 50th, and it doesn't make sense for them to sell an annual pass during the 50th because, more people than usual are still coming because of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we had a very spirited discussion about this in the Discord. So
yeah, which I think it's good to have these discussions because there's obviously a lot of different views out there on it because all of us have our own our own experiences and our own point of view on how Disney should or shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. Personally, I just think I like to think of it from Disney's playing a game of. They've got their events going on. They've got their own calendar that doesn't necessarily line up with our calendar or anything that, any of us want to do. Yeah. It's easier that way because then I don't get stressed about it.
I'll give a shout out to, I don't know. I have to look and see in the Patreon what his first name is, but B Meyer in the Discord. Thank you for the spirited discussion about the APs. So yeah. Anyway. Last but not least here, Disneyland is rolling out the mobile cast complement feature that has been in the Disney World app, which I don't know why it took so much longer for them to do Disneyland, because I feel like that launched like forever ago on the Disney World app. But
it was a year ago.
Yeah, right.
So,
like,
or it was last October.
I think they just would have like duplicated it. It feels like it wouldn't have been that difficult for them to do. I mean, I guess there's different sections or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, to me, that says that it's probably that the people who run the Disneyland and the Disney World apps
are separate teams.
Yeah. I think that's exactly it. Is that you've got two different teams there, and Disneyland probably. I don't know if it's that they don't have as much priority on that stuff, but it feels like they are moving, even though they're like supposed to be the same company and moving the same way. They just totally don't feel like that from an IT standpoint.
No, that's true.
Yeah. And I see this too. Like I see this with again, being that I work in IT, I'll see the same thing in companies where it's like, you'll have different regions or departments or whatever, where it's like, well, wouldn't it make sense for just every, do it across the board? But, department A will say, no, we have to do this because of X. And then B will be like, well, we got to wait, or we got to do it differently because of Y. Right. Like it's,
or maybe, maybe they had different priorities for the Disneyland app, right? Like maybe there was like other stuff that was more important to fix, because this is a great thing, right? It's an absolutely great thing that you can complement specific cast members right from the app. Like that's great. But it's also not critical to day-to-day operations, right? So, like, if they had some stuff that was, like, critical to day-to-day operations, that's, of course, going to take precedence over this, right? So, For
us as people visiting the parks, though, this is actually very important in my point of view. Because, one, it's, and we've said this before, is, it saves a trip to, City Hall if you're in Magic Kingdom or whatever to fill out a card. Like, you can do it And again, like I know they had stuff in the past, like using Twitter and stuff like that, but this is so much easier. If you're there in the moment, you can like, hey, this person was awesome. And before I forget this interaction, you can get in there, send the compliment, and, it gets captured so much more authentically than what they had before. So
absolutely. This is a great thing. I'm glad they're doing this to recognize the cast members. I think you should.
Yeah, people compliment your cast members because they're working hard.
Yeah. And most of the time they're dealing with people that are not very nice to them. So I just assume that mean
but so that's why more of us need to be nice to them, right?
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. They need the pick me up, right? Like they need that. So
yeah, or just being nice in general.
Yeah, well, there's also that too. Yeah. Some people wonder too, like it's the nicer you are to the cast members, the nicer they're going to be back to you, right? Like so, like yelling at a cast member, not a good idea. Like they're not going to, help you with that kind of thing. So, I mean, just be nice. Like they're people too, and also cast members have bad days too. Like I've had a cast member kind of give me like a little bit of attitude, and I'm like, I get it, man. You're at work. Like, I don't want to be at work every day. I mean, I expect you to be nice to me, but like, yeah, we're allowed to have bad days. They're people too. So, it's, do these kinds of things, brighten people's days. It's good. I'm always impressed by the people I see on Facebook that are like, that make like little like, care packages for these cast members and like give them out to them. Have you seen that where they're like, they have like these little things that they give, and like that's really cool and nice. But I just
like little card, like
like little cards or like like little tiny gifts or whatever. Like it's I mean, half the time I forget to tip the cleaning people. So
I challenge to do one better because I don't just it's not just at Disney that I treat cast members well. It's anywhere. I used to work retail. I used to I've had all those kinds of jobs in the past, and I remember what it was like. And my wife and I, we try to make sure the person that we're dealing with, like you can always tell somebody doesn't I've seen it so many times. Like I'll be somewhere and somebody that's new, or they're trying to figure things out, and oh sorry, and we're just like, yeah, you're good, like just take your time. I'm not going to get mad because that doesn't solve anything. So
absolutely,
just be better to people because
yeah, I agree.
Should be.
I agree.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Anyway,
all right. Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up because we've talked about this before. We're not going to have a lot of news really until D23 happens. They're holding on to things. I know they are. So it's pretty obvious because like all the stuff on the Disney Parks blog is like fluff right now. Like it's all fluff. So
yeah, we'll figure out how to work the D23 day stuff. Maybe we'll talk about it more offline. But I don't know if it'll be a live stream or if it'll be a react or something like that. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out.
Anyway, to wrap things up here, as usual, if you guys want to send us an email, fire us one at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We do love seeing your emails. We've got people sharing trip reports with us. Not just Disney, actually. Like, there's been some people that have done trips through like Adventures by Disney and shared that with us. And, we're very glad to see all that. And, we love talking with you guys. So keep that kind of stuff coming. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can always find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast, and check out the Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, for some of the stuff we mentioned on the show. We have listeners in there that make great memes. There's lots of discussion. There's lots of good community stuff around Disney. If you want to get more of that kind of stuff, and make sure you follow our YouTube channel, which is also Welcome Home Podcast, and our Instagram, Welcome Home Pics, for whenever we do live shows or we're in the parks, you can get those updates through those channels. And if you want to help support the show, go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out some of our merchandise. Again, just a note, as we said, with the t-shirt coming, we'll have that up on the store here once it's ready. So keep an eye out for that. But, even if you just want some regular swag, there is some
regular merch.
Merch. Yeah. So merch, swag, whatever. You know, you can
not with
you
a
can always
30% discount though. We don't give annual pass discounts.
No, we I don't think we have annual pass holders to Welcome Home Podcast. I don't know how that would work, but
yeah, that'd be tough. Well, I guess the Patreon people, but you know,
yeah, I guess, yeah. I guess, we have Patreon. So, hey, if you want to subscribe on Patreon, go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod, and you can check out the merchandise that is exclusive to Patreon, and Patreon supporters get access to the Discord server. So, again, another good way to have conversations with us and all that.
And the Patreon subscribers get they also get a discount in the store. They do. So they do have a discount code.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. So they get their annual pass discount.
So Patreon is okay. All right.
Yeah, there it is. See, look at that. Full circle. We went full circle. With
hey.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Good.
Yeah. Last but not least, if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find the podcast. And if you want to leave a review on iTunes, that would be cool too, because we do like reading those. And, you know, hopefully you guys like the show. Is there any interesting ones this week, Tom, that you saw?
Oh man, I don't know. Let me see really quick. I didn't see any that came in this week. I mean, do you want me to find an old one? I'm unprepared. I'm unprepared for this, apparently. I just want to read Bob Gurr's forever. So, oh man! All right, how about this guy from 2021? Boring. They will put you to sleep. Oh wait, that's probably not what we should read. That guy's probably still listening. Let's be honest. Like, please, that guy's definitely still listening, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe he has sleep issues. Maybe he needs us to go to sleep every night.
All right. How about I was just going to read this one and I realized it was Charles and I was like, that one's just not fair. It's our friend Charles. So okay, let's see. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this is Damon's wife, and this is Damon Rules. He can be my boyfriend. That's what it says. Pretty sure it's his wife. I don't know why I'm just finding these weird ones right now.
He's not here to verify or
I guess not. Yeah, I guess not. So anyway, but please leave us a review. If you're on Spotify, if you're listening to us on Spotify, do a 5-star there, or you can leave us a 5-star on iTunes and leave us a review and say nice things, or if you hate us, go ahead and say bad things. That's fine too. Whatever. Don't forget, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about every podcast app out there. You can find us. You just got to search for the one that says Welcome Home and Disney and all that stuff. It'll come up. I promise. So just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We're not employed by the Walt Disney Company. As such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to DVC Resale Market for sponsoring this episode. It was DVC Resale Market, wasn't it? I'm just kidding.
Yes, it was.
I'm kidding. Yeah, and then, of course, World of DVC. Please check them out. I got to follow up with Marissa and Derek and see how many people they heard from after the last show. So usually they tell us, but we haven't talked this week. So, but anyway, join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl. Look out, here comes my